Okay, well, welcome everybody. We are so glad to have you here in person tonight. It's lovely to see so many new faces and old faces and bored faces. And if there's anybody here who has not had a tour of the house or would like to talk about the house, if you're a board member, if you could raise your hand. See, these people know the answers to your questions, your random questions, like which bathroom did Jack Kerouac use? They know the answer to that. See, they do. They could tell you straight off. So afterwards, grab one of them for a tour if you'd like a tour. And speaking of bathrooms, David just told me that he does not want to be... what did you say?
Upstaged by a fart.
Okay, you heard it from him. So we have two bathrooms. There's that one there, which while the reading's on, we probably won't use because you can hear a lot going on in there. And it has got a little awkward at times. So we'll just say use the back bathroom, okay, which incidentally is the one that Jack used. So there we go. On to the, So my name is Jana Benj, and I am currently the board chair of this project, which consists of the house, where Jack lived in 1957 and wrote, and also we also have 4 residents a year who come in and live free of charge and write, and we also put on community events to enhance our local literary community. So that's who we are. It's pretty simple, and most of it just kind of runs along. So tonight we have David Morgan O'Connor with us, and David was a little tardy getting here, like a month late, because of COVID issues in Barcelona, where he was coming from. Even though he's Canadian Irish and on his way to Brazil, yes. So anyway, but and so he was a month late, and we didn't know if he was going to make it at all. So we're very glad that he did make it, and he made it. This time he's had a few things that most people don't get. One was we had the Consul General of Morocco in New York come to visit us and for a haiku blowout, and he got to be here for that, which was awesome. And he has had several distinctions here. I think he has actually cycled further afield than any other resident we've ever had. I think he does need some kind of cycling badge. We should start. I think we should start like Boy Scout badges, like you win the... And there's another one. The other one, when he came here, he said, "Trust me, I will halve your electric bill." And he has done that. He said, "I hate air conditioning. I'm turning it off." So we went from, power to him. So we went from 120 a month in electricity to under 60. So, I mean, he's a man of his word, and, we like people like that. So David came here to work on some poems and a novel, and he's also very gregarious, so he keeps making friends. And he called the other day and said, "Hey, do you mind if instead of just me reading, we have this kind of, I invite some other people." I'm like, "Well, just put on a show for us." So that's basically what he is going to do for us. I don't know what quite is in store, but I know it'll be fun. And where are you, David? I've never had anyone hiding in the wings before. That's all right. No. Do you get nervous?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
That's weird. I wouldn't have thought you would.
No. Let's start.
Okay, well, if we'll just have a couple of minutes of silence, then... No, we'll get straight into it, and that will get your nerves all calm down, right? Yeah. So a very big welcome to you. Take it away.
Thank you. Great, thanks. So thank you guys for coming here tonight, and I'm just gonna jump right in. We'll talk later. So I'm gonna read a couple, and then Ehsan is gonna bring us to Persia and back. And then I think I'll read a longer short story. Basically, I'm trying to go, from image-based work into narrative. So, and then after we can move the chairs, and Ulysses and maybe some other people are gonna play some music, and there's wine and beer and food. So this one, When you think of the word Ontario, here we go. Plan to Free is the title. Plan to Free. Oh, this is good for Thanksgiving, too. Except it was a Christmas turkey. So, Plan to Free. The dog ate the turkey, then killed the village swans, piled the white corpses at the front door, impossible to hide, a pyre to be paid by exile. In the orange school bus, every morning and afternoon, no matter the snow or dust, we'd lower the windows and hang out from the waist, yelling across the rutabaga fields, and hail our dog chained to the tractor tire. We'd conspire to pedal under star cover with chain cutters and hairpins to pick locks, to unleash dreams. We planned escape routes down beaver creeks, flow following to the Great Lake mouth, over the falls to salt water. We'd be Vikings, conquistadors, voyageurs, braves. The first to find the strait. We'd live off seal pelt and whale blubber and albatross breast. We'd suck octopus tentacles to keep scurvy at bay. We'd breed a whole continent of dogs, horse islands, cat jungles, pig mountains. In winter, we'd burn the news for warmth, ask nothing for nothing, say nothing to adults, which we'd never become, a fate equivalent to death. Our arms would turn legs, our snouts would grow long, fingers to paw, our ears would hear everything. So, Viva Canada! Here's a love poem. Let's get some love going. Well, I don't know if it's love or religion, but you guys can decide. Forced conversion. Forced conversion. After 15 married years, she berated him with logic and reason in the Holy Roman Catholic vocabulary about afterlife and the divine Trinity. When he finally armed himself with Nietzsche, Heidegger, Prime Levi, Wittgenstein, their battle grew curious, especially in bed. She posited into new wave, pop-up psychology, Paulo Coelho, Eckhart Tolle, Osho, kept quoting the monk who stole his Ferrari, and who moved my cheese. He hunkered down with Thomas Merton, Thomas Aquinas, freshly canonized John Henry Newman. He propped well-oiled Bibles on the bedside, in the glove compartment, in his toolbox. Neighbors conjectured on the late-night caterwaul and contusions. False smiles stirred bakery gossip. The butcher reported she'd ordered grouse liver and boudin noir. He asked for kosher, full-fat milk. For their 4th wedding anniversary, they walked to Santiago. For their 45th, they completed Hajj. Leaving Mecca, they successfully applied for new official names at the consulate. They were last spotted by a saw-scaled viper in Odisha, behind the Sun Temple, communing in the bushes. Reluctant to comment, a local Bengal tiger said the couple looked happy as high water. So, yeah. Like Kerouac and a good Irishman, I'm a recovering Catholic and a recovering Canadian as well, which is pretty hard to recover from. So I worked in Italy for, 6 months. There's a lot of, chi parla italiano aquí? Dai. I know 2 do. This is called Valpolicella. It's a beautiful valley. The valley between the city. Valpolicella. Valpolicella. Beppe, a winemaker from Fumane, didn't care to learn English. My job was to teach him. He only wanted adjectivos. Crisp, fat, fleshy, fruta, juicy, oak, tight, toastly, unctuous. We drilled them all autumn. On Sunday, at the stadium, he taught me. Madonna, cavallo, porca miseria, minchia, cazzo, vai fanculo, bastardo, cornudo. Each vowel came with a gesture. When his wife abandoned him, when his wife absconded with the carabinieri, the policeman, guns and savings, we drank grappa till we wept in each other's arms. I cooked the worst gnocchi he'd ever tasted. He rolled on the floor in yuck. told me I'd never cut garlic small enough to find happiness. Ellis, his religion, team, were deregulated to the 3rd division that year. We keep in touch. When I can afford Amarone, adjectives fail. But the taste of tears fortifies my faith in craft. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to Dublin. Daily News, this is called. I'm sure we've all been there, those moments where you have zero in the bank and you got to get the shittiest job that's closest to your house. Well, I was working the breakfast shift at the Royal Marine Hotel in Dunleary. Anyways, I was studying at the same time. And Daily News. Jack, the Royal Marine duty manager since 1886, has the worst skin I have ever seen. He's 33, but he looks late 50s. No, he's 133, but he looks late 50s. Imagine you dip sandpaper into chip grease, marinate in cigarette ash, rub for 11 decades on cheek and nose, above the bulb, of course, take the cheapest plastic razor and scrape the rosacea daily. You get the picture. He's a funny man, hard to look at without imagining a bar to prop against, a rehearsed punchline. Yesterday, he took me aside and told me if I wanted to go places, I'd have to start shaving better. My little head voice cackled Vincent Price laughter. Therapy. I'm a hypocritical prick. I didn't ask which places. I've not taken jobs before because the uniform had a tie. I'm wearing a tie now. I need a video to tie it. So, cool. Okay. This is crowd participation. So it's called More Mantra. Eric will remember this one. So the mantra, which everyone's going to repeat, is the key will fit in the door. Let's hear it. The key will fit in the door. Perfect. The key will fit in the door. The key will fit in the door. More mantra. When you see my hand, go for it. More mantra. There are those nights, old friends. Warm food, inspiring conversation, maybe something harder. The key will fit in the door. The key will fit in the door. The key will fit in the door. You feel delight on foot, dance on dangerous streets to any type of music, even low quality. The key will fit in the door. Dawn, light whips up dread. You worry about your heart, repeat homebound mantras. The key will fit in the door. The key will fit in the door. The key will fit in the door. I know where I am. Next noon on the veranda, you watch the locals gather and poke a washed-up whale. An accordion weds the sea waves as the bloated carcass is undertowed away. This too will pass. This too will end well. The key will fit in the door. The key will fit in the door. The key will fit in the door. But the lock is a combination. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to Persia. Ehsan Emad from Shiraz. If any wine people know, it's where the grape comes from. Shiraz, Iran. Shiraz has a doctorate in computer science and is an artificial intelligence researcher by day and Persian poet by night. Yeah, no, but he exactly, and he's got a rhythm and a tradition of. I mean, I've never heard Rumi in the original language, but that's what I imagine. Eric took me to an open mic at Stardust, and it was a lovely night, and I watched him read, and I was like, it's just otherworldly. So let's welcome Ehsan. 10 minutes, right? Not an hour.
No, not an hour. It's the same piece, so. All right, thank you. That's fine, whatever. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I hope that I performed this well enough. I'm a little bit stressed because this is really not my areas of expertise. Sorry, area of expertise. All right, here we go. Let me put this because of the difference of height. Okay. And our only obligation for action is communication. The contents of what you say today will reach faster to the other parts of this world in other forms and designs. And believe me, my dear friend, the beauty of this world and society will be realized through your words, inspiring someone on the corner of this planet for action. A Socrates will repeat your words and an MLK will hear it. So talk about the issues and let them call you a pessimist and a hypocrite. Let us hear your thoughts, your insights. Talk about hardship and our collective will resolve it. Love in humanity is a product of empathy, and without knowing each other's troubles, we will be incapable of developing such. And let us recognize that darkness and ugliness is a coward entity. Only our denial have kept them around. Shine a light upon them, and they will perish to the world of nuts and whatnots. We have been carrying these demons from the past with us. They are the travelers of the past. They belong to the past. Well, my dearest of dears, on the positive side, there is abundance around, the breeze whispering through the trees a million times to wake us up. The sun is on our side, the galaxy at our hand. We have done it as humanity. We have got the automation of thought and work. We have tamed the world. Well, isn't it time to cherish the gift of the gods, to stroll around and be happy little monkeys poking the trees and the flowers around? Or should we keep being hungry for progress? Tell me honest, isn't it nice to hold an apple in your hand or play in a band? Being an orangutan, watching the world dancing around. Or maybe you would like a kraken pushing you to the edge of this land in the name of the kingdom and progress, in the name of God and prosperity, in the name of technology. I choose the apple, the green one, rather than the cool-ass cars warming the ground. Oh my God. And dear scientists, get back to work and fix your car engines. Your Mustangs make too much distasteful sound. I know, the industry is a greedy hound. I felt it there. They are the Tommy bullying the brain around Amir. A pattern of the past, break your caskets, get out, shake the dust, shout to them. They cannot tell you what should be around. Defy their awards and titles designed to pet you around. Wake up, shout it, your planet is dying and your obedience is putting us in the ground. And dear economists, your design is flawed, your style of supply and demand, bringing resources from the ground and putting them back to the ground as trash in a year, an artificial demand. Is that even sound? How did you convince them all with your Nobel Prizes and some touch of Ayn Rand? The demand is here, is called education, sharing the knowledge. That's the essence of us. And don't you worry, our supply is each other's words we badly demand. Self-sustainable, right? We don't need factories and unholy giants. We don't need carbons and silicons to pass around. All we need is a room and the ground. We don't need the golden lamps. The sun is golden. We don't need the roof with the hazy blue. The sky is blue. And most of all, we don't need the bullet rounds. You know of which devil I'm talking about. Oh, say it loud, military industrial complex. We need knowledge, food, safety, food, and land. The land is there. The food is there. Tigers and bears are dead. Well, thanks to your vision. So safety is there if you don't further disturb the planet. What remains is to share the knowledge. Don't you see you're making it seem harder? A mathematician dilemma, maybe? Tunnel vision, overcomplication. Take a step backward and look at your design and wonder why you were looking at each brick for a flaw. The dam is broken, but the bricks are just fine. Don't waste your time. The key is to simplify. And dear military, you have become the servants of the devil, too harsh, like the bullets and bombs. Not your fault. For every child that died out of your master's demand, the devil laughed and danced. For every tear you brought on this land, your master stamped the ground. Our hearts are shaken, broken from the depth of rage you spread on this lovely land. Wake up, obey with your hand, but do not follow them around. Don't let them kill a child with your hand in the name of the fellow countryman. And dear preachers, take off your robes, salvation is around. Don't tell us lies with your smiles. Don't repeat the mind of the mankind devoured by despise. You want to protect the thoughts that killed more than the atomic bomb, more than Genghis Khan. Who are you kidding? You as well have no idea of what's going on. Don't tell us how he loves us. We are past the daddy issues. Don't tell us the good words as if it came from the gods. These words came from the strain of humankind. Don't call us the wicked needing a rope to survive. The rope is among us, keeping us together, humanity. We had morals and ethics before you set foot on our shores with Bibles and knives. And dear politician, you are delusional. Get into one room and resolve your issues. Don't tell me a handshake has meaning, maybe meaning for you, my child. Oh, you too read The Prince, is that good? Then justifies the means. Is that what you mean? Kill each other to save us, burn the ground to save the crown. Absurdity, is it not? Talk to us, don't be shy. Tell us what's going on. The enemy is within you, not within us. No man on this planet wants war, want the victory, nor the defeat, as victory is the defeat of my neighbor. The aggression is within you, competition among you. Get into one room and solve it all once and for all. That's our demand. Get out of the room with peace and give each other a kiss, and maybe that's what you miss. And dear God, I don't care if you're good or bad, happy or sad. I don't care if you exist. We don't yet see you around, and apparently you don't see us. And if you must know, yesterday a child was shot down by the soldiers in your holy land. How does that sound? Or did you get desensitized to the sound of the oppressed in your land? Is this what you planned? Then the blood is on your hand. The blood is on your hand. Let us be us and kind, and we will prevail with love without your heavenly touch. Love among us is our religion, and trust, we don't need your authorization. And dear people, raise your demands. It's not up to you if you're a beggar or if your sweater is not made out of feather. It's not because of you that you're a thief. It's not because of you that you're in grief. Having parents filling you with hatred, you need the medicine to postpone the pain there. It was their job to bring happiness to the land. Their promises to put flowers in your hand. Now they turn the table around. Now they demand. Oh, here comes the authority. Oh, work hard. Oh dear, there is no work. Well, we don't discriminate among the slaves in the land. Go cut the grasses if you can in the highways. Waste your time. Keep it busy while you can. You might ask yourself, the system is running and no one needs my hand. Can I go stroll on the grasses, take a banana from the tree and reflect upon the masses? Well, we don't want you to reflect. Everyone should be busy. Our game was not supposed to be easy. We want you to be in fear, and with fear we stay near. In your dreams we are there, in your trips we are there. We make it to your heart. What's yours is ours. Of course, we share it with you if we want. Remember, we are just. We shave your head if we must. Go back to jail for the lack of the thought we deprived you of. Go be a slave in prison for us. For our fathers wish you must. We respect their slavemanship to the core. We are the experts of her. What we deal with is authority. You see, I always needed the security. And my family was wealthy, but my father was not healthy. He told me to run faster, my son. And hey, if you don't do, the enemy takes hold of you. Your friends are your foes if you want them so. And if you don't win in this race, oh, I will pick up the lace. Dear son, my father beats me with a chain. And I'm generous to you, my love. It's father love I beat you with care. I want you to learn that I care for you, to learn to obey. My oppressed with the signs of love in the chest. The lashes are the sound of my world, and I made you believe it makes sense. Yes, the word of yours is the word of my past. I make you steal, because without stealing my word, you will not last. The divide works in simple ways. Put them away, make them wait for the moment to claim what's left on the ground. Our food waste. Let them rip each other's face apart, internalize what we want. Let them curse to the weakest. Truly, they are the meekest. They don't see how we watch with a smile, with the vodkas and wines, Roman style. They don't see how we use them for a laugh, how we threw the weeds to the sea time after time to see the pain in their eyes one at a time. The hope in their eyes remind me of the time I told my daddy, I'll be fine. Daddy shouted, well, you need I am your captain. Without I, your hope will die. You're not my son if you're not mine. You see, my dear, my motto is here. Fuck them all if they're not mine. I see the anger in my eyes. I know these people are not mine. It's the power we claim to maintain. Superiority is our aim. You may call us elite, and that's a shame. The word elite could have been a good name. We are the supreme at the course. We are the thinkers at Yale's. We succeeded the race. We proved we can kill with haste. You come to us below our chair. We put the sword on your head. We give you titles to show the rest how they're not the best. We're just and holy, and sometimes we will share the glory. But my dear people, where's the glory in this constant task of ant colony? They make you think the goals are far away. You were closer to freedom 10 years ago than today. They throw bombs simply because they can. No one asked them who did not sleep the last night, the last year, who broke the hearts of the friends for these monsters to be rained upon innocent people with no shame. They make you work for wars we don't understand. The bombs and missiles are huffed and puffed, but the pain of the moment is not lost. It stayed with us. Wake up, friends. The world is in pain. We share the same pain with different name. Share them with me. Shame them with me every day. Your words are more meaningful than the news. BBC and CNN are no use. Talk to me, sisters. Talk to me, brothers. Tell me your dream. It's unity we need to redeem. These monsters prey on distances. Hold on to the rope. Give me an answer. Happy or nay? If it's nay, then say it out loud. Your job is not to solve, it's to unite. And if it's yea, then good for our grounds. What I ask for is not the action. With communication, the action is just a reaction. All I ask for is to change your lenses, sharpen your senses, hear each other. Don't get lost with the drugs, a spiral to the depth of your individual mind. Get out of the well and look around. There are people waiting to be found. Tell them how dark was it in the well. Ask for the one who made it for you a hell. Get out of your shells and show the sun, the flesh, and shine. Because now, my dear people, it's your time to be divine. Yeah.
Wow, give it up again. Come on. Man, I gotta follow that. Yeah. I think a lot about narrative and rhythm, and like it seems like I'm just gonna read. I wrote this yesterday, and I couldn't think of a title. So if you guys think of a title, tell me before you leave. And so it's called Crowdsource Title. When the conversation turns to migration, I want a bird whistle or rifle. As if we can stop water. As if your flag or wall will keep out the ice age. As if caravans didn't bring spices, myrrh, gunpowder, opium, language. As if at some point, the next point, the counterpoint, our mothers or sons didn't pack mules and head over the mountain, cross seas in 13-foot leather skiffs. As if you can own that grandfather oak tree on the lawn you cut and think, we can't just own, we just play custodian, pretend to believe the treaty. While you're here, sell me some air you think you own. I'll call it hot and cool, establish an oxygen bar franchise. Call the season fire. Throw fantastic lines into the smoke. Rise from forest, leaf dance, each caprice a snowflake. When talk turns to plastic, I want my grandmother's grocery net, milk bottle, tea cozy, turf waff. Let's not measure our generation's ability to melt icebergs and play deaf to light's cackle. But yeah, migration language, I mean, yeah, we can stop it. Stop the rain. I lived a lot in Brazil, and I'm going to Brazil, and this is a because poem. It was kind of an exercise I did the other day. It all starts with because. Because, eternal, colonial, because. Because, actually, I came out one morning with my coffee, and there was a coconut on the lawn, and I was like, I don't see any coconut tree. Where the fuck? Like, ooh. Can that be the title of the last poem? Eternal colonial because. Because they open coconuts. Because the tropics are a career. Because you can't sell what you don't own. Air, for example. Because smallpox ain't small. Because the cashew nut is toxic and waylaid Elizabeth Bishop. Because of Petropolis. Because we did. Because frond is a great word. Because the frond in the wind is a symphony. Because lizards can fly. Because the warnings were in Tupi. Because they approached naked in canoes. Because they trusted the Longbeards. Because bald is the new black. Because gunpowder, steel, Yemen, omen. And rounding the Cape of Sly Hope, the treaty was written on a sail. Because hollowing a hull is an art, and sugar is a drug, and cacao is an aphrodisiac, and the bishop gave free rein, even a command to spread seed for crown and cross and gold. Because of course. Because we do the same again and again and again without knowing why we are doing again. Open the skull, drink the milk, sup on meat. So another time I had to take a really interesting, shitty job, and I'll just read it. Managing Enrique. I was managing the Irish pub in Rio de Janeiro during the World Cup when Enrique, the doorman, who'd done serious time for a crime I know nothing about and don't want to know about, told me on a busy Friday night, line up out the door, short-staffed, he had to go up the hill and deal with a thing. They got my kid. Okay, be back when you can, I said, not wanting to man the door myself, but no one wants to say no to Enrique. An hour later, Enrique motorcycled back and resecured the door. I watched the money and booze and kept time with the band. An hour after midnight, Enrique shuffles across the dance floor, sweating. Patron. Gotta go back and deal with another thing. They got my other kid. Wait, Enrique, you're going back to where you already dealt with a thing? I'll be back before closing, patron. I hated when he called me that. Don't go, Enrique, they'll be waiting. Driving up the hill to his third wife's home, a fishing line sliced Enrique's neck open. His helmet turned volleyball. They were waiting. He lived, but never spoke again. I heard his last words. I tried to help with the workers' compensation papers, but the doorman at the samba bar next door said he'd gone back to the state where he'd come from. True story. More or less, I mean. Last year I found myself locked down in Portugal. Not a bad thing. But this one's called Periscope Portuguesa, the Portuguese periscope. And it's in 3 parts. The Way There. And the Jackie and Truman in the 3rd part are Jackie Onassis Kennedy and Truman Capote, who, when I'd go running, I'd pass this big Palacio de Comenda and imagine them. It was a whole 16th century palace that I loved running by. Periscope Portuguesa. Moored off Muscat, Alphonse de Albuquerque weighed pearls, entered inky figures into conquest chronicles, leaning columns, cataloging greed, and wondered whether to boil or fry the glassfish for lunch. Low on oil, brandy, joy, patience, and citrus, the crew had been mumbling mutiny since Mombasa. Only battle and pillage elevated spirits. Doldrums fanned bloodthirst. Still water since Maputo, rowing galleons inspires nobody. We need a temple to torch. Cannonballs flying, night screams, more slaves. He tossed and shucked shells into the staghorn reef, glowing lumescent. Part 2. The way here. Rounding the horn, Nelson Septubal, maintaining the oak, was eaten from within by termites, perhaps maggots. Only the broad-nosed, seven-gilled cow shark knows best. All that infesting pays well. The puff adder, shy shark added two clarifying scents if found and pursued to rat. The hound shark took a fifth. The hound shark took the fifth when pressed, spoken tongues. Fin envy remained the official gloss for capsize. Overload and title misreading were also footnoted. At least that's what Sadnuno told the cartographer, feathered in the dispatch to Henry the Navigator, who well knew the attention was propaganda. Bounty's privilege. Jackie and Truman slipped breakfast gimlets on the Palacio de Comenda on the veranda of the Palacio de Comenda. Would you look at those sandbars? They seem to be floating, he said, waving the wand-like cigarette holder. Aren't we all? Aristotle said cuttlefish are good for circulation. Shall we take the mules up to the windmill later? Conceivably, if I can phone my words in on time and you provide your houseboy's companionship. Truman, you really are a hound. I prefer the word harpy. A single ripe olive plopped onto a cobblestone. Truman lit Jackie's cigarette and Jackie lit Truman's cigarette, not half a worry between them. Ashes flicked out to sea. Yeah, they say it's like a wedding, no? Give the new with the old. That one's newer. I haven't read that aloud. Has anyone lived in New York? In the 90s, I spent my youth there. And this one's called Reluctant Gentrifier. I remember when Starbucks moved onto the street, Giuliani was mayor, and I opened my mail, and it was like, oh, your rent's moving from $900 to $3,000 in 28 days. Yeah. Reluctant Gentrifier. Between 91 and 94, maybe, we ate every single night at a galas. Blue Dog, Keith Haring, Basquiat, Koons. Now that was an education. Remember when Lichtenstein hit on you? Remember we watched Bowie shoot a scene from the fire escape with Oldman? Oh, was that Defoe? That was Defoe's smile that stopped traffic. Schnabel made us sign waivers and never paid. I'm ashamed to confess, every time I return, I must snap a photo of our door. 33 Crosby Street. Enya. The tapas bar is gone. Reggae, red striped reggae joint too. Last time, thousands of people were lined around the corner. I asked Luther, what's that all about? Oh, a YouTuber, a product launch, or both simultaneously. I don't know to care. Then he asked if I still see you. Remember ancient Signora Mastrio Giovanni from the 5th floor, paid like $120 a month? Remember the day we moved her into the street? Dropped her sofa like a name? She had nowhere to go. Was still sleeping on the corner when we sold the lease because we could. We were young. We moved to Brooklyn. More New York. This was like my first day in New York, or first week. First night in New York, above the park. Remember that time somewhere above 129th Street, walking into Mo Better Blues because the music was live and good and better than anything you've ever heard in Fort St. John or Fort St. George or Nelson, digging latrines for dimes, keeping bears out of the mess tent by slapping wooden spoons on pot asses? Remember how it felt? Music stopped but didn't miss a beat. Your steel-toe work boots, the only and best collared plaid shirt, and the barman says, I ain't never seen a real lumberjack before. Guess you can stay because you're too stupid to know what you are. After some miles, 2 young bucks came over and showed you their pistols and asked if they could take down a moose with it. And they laughed real hard and bought a brandy round and asked the plural of moose and called you Crocodile Dundee. Remember later the joint thinning out on a stool corner? Diamond starts counting the calluses on your hand and whispering all that jazz? Or maybe you took one sip, turned around, ran out the door, back to the forest, laughing, and trumpets riffing, making your wake. Yeah. And this one was about a month before. Actually, since I've been in the house, I've been writing a lot about New York for some reason. Yeah, Ulysses knows. Where is he? But this is about a month before I got to New York. Clear cut. I was up near the Yukon. Clear cut. Crossing the Yukon River off Chilkoot Trail on Easter Monday. After the first day of planting season, the pulley sliced off Chuck Lee's ring finger. I'd met Chuck that morning. You like porridge? Nope. Toast? Nope. I'm a banana guy. Me too. Cool. That was the extent of our conversation before digging our own latrines. New boots, shovel and tent. Chuck reeked of cologne, deodorant, toothpaste. His hair gel shone. Clean-shaven cheeks. A college kid. Bear bait. Almost asked for a before and after to match the after. Almost asked for a picture to match. Almost asked for a before picture to match an after picture. If he made it to June, then snowflakes would fall in order of complexity, and I'd lose a bet in my head. The whole crew was already across the river. Chuck and I were winching the dinghy through the rapids when he held on too long and his hand jammed between the rope and the winch wheel. Chuck screamed. Put a gaggle of geese back on the migration trail. The blood tie-dyed my plaid. I don't know how the pinky stayed on, but when I saw the ring finger plop into the mud below while Chuck's hand popped out of the top of the winch, 26 red-tailed deer bolted downriver. Hooves, another symphony. Chuck didn't even notice. Too busy popping eyes, sticking his stump in the ice water, which must have felt good, but turned the rapids red. I got the dinghy over, put Chuck in, wrapped my shirt around his hand, held his arm over his head, got the winch rolling. Chuck was bobbing out of my life towards the van in a 12-hour jiggy ride all the way to the hospital in Fort St. John. I was thinking Chuck could use some whiskey, when I saw his finger sticking out of the mud like that sculpture in Uruguay I saw 20 years later. I rinsed off the mud, called to Chuck, who looked the definition of shock. Plus the river was rock band loud. I got okay aim. Chuck's finger burned a hole in my hand. What's that, 30, maybe 40 yards? The van ain't gonna wait for the finger. Maybe it'll be dark before we see another vehicle that could deliver Chuck's finger. Maybe 3 days. I wound up. Not a fastball, more of a directional lob. The finger arced over the winch rope, and I shit you not, sprouted wings. Think hummingbird, transparent, 53 beats a second, hovering, wise-eyed, sword-beaked, fleshy, red-throated. I wish I could draw. The fingerbird rose about helicopter speed, straight up, above the spruce, the pine, the rocks, the mud, the moose, the deer, and me, and all that clean gush in Easter water. I watched the crew load poor 9-figured Chuck into the van, while his hummingbird finger watched me sit on the boulder, roll a drum tobacco, imagining the finger's flight pattern following the van all the way to some good seamstress doctor. Maybe not. Maybe Chuck's finger became a cloud, rained and saved some lost soul from dehydration in the desert. I saw Chuck's finger. I never saw Chuck's finger or him again. I planted 2,000 trees that day and prayed for everything to grow wings. What time is it? How much we got? Okay. Couple more. It's funny. I was going to read this big, long page, like one short story. It's 12 pages. It won a bunch of awards. I'm proud of it. But I think when you're in, with real people around, I think long narratives, like, you need a beat, you need a rhythm, you need to keep, I don't know if it's an energy thing, but I think after about 12 minutes into a narrative, it's hard to really be there. So I'll keep them short. And just a few more. How many people have been to Big Sur? Yeah, so I read Jack's book again, Big Sur, and I've been there a few times. And there's a restaurant that he talks about, and it's quite famous, Nepenthe. And the novel I'm working on has a lot of Brazil and Orson Welles, and I'm not reading any of that tonight. I got like 30,000 words, but it's not public yet. So Nepenthe is this restaurant. If you ever go to Big Sur, make sure you stop in. It's phenomenal. But Nepenthe. We measured the windows for curtains, named the restaurant after a potion used by ancient gods to infuse forgetfulness from pain or sorrow, but never returned. Endured fire, floods, mudslides, cut off for months. We considered cannibalism, but the gulls were plenty and my arrows were sharp. The problem arrived when the wine ran out. Of course, we couldn't brew, distill, ferment. The grapes were already crushed. The hops across the canyon, all washed out. The bridge, we tried to kindle the romance. But the war bonds that brought us together, 2 buns pressed, ground beef grease, drip inspired, a horror script. All you have to know is I bought Big Sur and sold it cheap, Orson said to Merv, who said, "See, the way you talk makes me want to dance." Rita laughed. We're not the first or last stars to die by whim and live by fancy. Her reflection in the wine glass, well worth the deed. That's so new. Yeah, Orson Welles and Rita Hayworth stopped for lunch and bought the restaurant and never returned to it. They measured for curtains literally, and they never actually went back to the spot they were... Yeah. Okay. But let's do some more fresh ones. This one's also written here. Has anyone read the book Sapiens? No, it's good. It's a good book. I highly recommend it. But Israeli Noah Harari. Yeah, Sapiens. But he basically he posits the argument that before we got into agriculture, before the humans started planting, we had better lives, hunting and gathering. So it is reported that hunters and gatherers only worked 4 hours a week. It could work. You kill a big moose and you got dinner for the tribe for a couple weeks. It is reported that hunters and gatherers only worked 4 hours a week. Sure, as running water, I live. Don't know much else yet, or why this wander is sublime pleasure. Perhaps shirking duty. Research is evil. Sink fingernails into soil to test fertility before autumn sowing. I turned nomadic monk, took to the road, John Wayne's voice drawling, howdy, pilgrim. Didn't feel proper to preach my truth so loud, more opinion than object. What mattered was silence. Gravel underfoot, sweat under arm, pack straps chafing on bone. Use whip or Jungian labels, dangle, ego carrot. Go on, buzz off. Getting lost is impossible without destination, reservation, nor appointment. I'm searching for the lure that sparked the lust to drop the hoe and hammer and seed sprinkle and set forth the known into the unknown. Go down Shady Lane to Epiphany Avenue. Turn left at Time Suck Creek. Follow Dinky Trick Railway Line. When settled, drop me a postcard. Let me know how the trip was, if anything blossomed. Last one. But I just want to thank the Kerouac House, everyone. Thank you guys for coming. As Jenna, I think, hinted, I want to be known as the most grateful resident that ever came here. It just arrived at a perfect time. It was hard to get here. I mean, missing a month sucks. It wasn't a bad month. I just made, but yeah, thank you guys for being here. And this time here with these books and writing, I got a lot done. I don't know if it's clear, like, people keep saying, what did you write? What did you write? I mean, maybe now's the time for questions. Anyone questions? Or we can do them informally while Ulysses is playing some music. So after I read this, maybe one or two, we'll clear the chairs. Ulysses will set up, and we'll, maybe somebody will dance. I don't know. So I was thinking a lot about horror films. Yeah, I don't like them, but I was trying to figure out why I don't like them. Yeah, well, maybe this will explain. And this one's called All the Tropes We Cannot Eat. The blinking neon sign should have been a warning. And then the room number, pure bad luck. And the night clerk's goatee, Jesus. You needed gas, don't we all? A back wheel jammed while crossing the parking lot. Wheel of Fortune, the price was right. Jeopardy, I'll take cheap motel thrill for $300, Alex. What is femme fatale? The drapes wouldn't close. Both double beds held memory foam outlines, fetal position. The brown sink water tasted fine. God is just man yelling was underlined in blood in the desktop Gideon Bible. No Dakota, Black Mining Hills, no women running off with another guy, no raccoon saloon. You had to come for isolation, and that's what they served with a side of canned beans. Towels as thin as tissue paper. The local livestock auction on TV. You could bid over the phone if hankering. Then the inevitable scream, timpanied across the lot, and your only car, the only one under the vacant sky. You'd left your lover's pistol in the glove box. You're good at running in forests at night, but the thing is, the thing flew. Doubled back when you believed the coast clear. Of course, you left the keys bedside. Fog rolled in as if invited. You slid under the chassis to bide time, focused on silent exhales. Oil like water tortured the forehead. Could an exhaust pipe spear a thorax? Did the rental insurance policy cover delusion? At dawn, you regretted not studying more psychology. A life wasted on film. Should-haves turned tsunami. When you entered the diner for eggs over easy, the natives snickered. They knew what you didn't. Alex, I'll take all work and no play for $200. What is red herring? What is don't touch your own face, it could kill you? Caught you looking, so you asked for it, the waitress said, while squirting ketchup in your eye. The banana peel slip was the missing clue. Enjoy your meal, you glutton. So, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, guys. Ulysses, yeah. So let's move the chairs. We'll get the music going.